Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to those of you out there who are struggling to leave a toxic relationship with a narcissist. What is a narcissist? A narcissist is a person who is being used by the enemy and they have a Jezebel spirit working through them. These people have been severely damaged and wounded in their childhoods. They have learnt to shut themselves down and to not trust anyone, including their partners. They are unable to trust other people. They use manipulation tactics to gain control over another person. They manipulate others to steal their resources, their finances. Though they may appear loving and nice to you at the start of the relationship, this is all a facade in order to get you hooked to them so they can start stealing your energy, stealing your resources, robbing you of your self-esteem, pushing you down until there is nothing left of you, and they generally will leave you at this point in time. I can connect with where many of you guys are. I personally have been in a relationship with a couple of narcissists, and I know how difficult it is to get out of these situations. I had gone back and forth in one such relationship, but at the time I would always hope in the fantasy that I was the one to be able to get to change, that somehow the relationship would go back to peaches and cream and how it was at the start of the relationship. I'm going to go into some reasons as to why we are getting stuck in these relationships and find it difficult to exit them. The first reason is our own childhood wounds and traumas. If you are someone who grew up with narcissistic parents, like I did, there is a childhood wound in you where a part of you wishes to seek out another partner who is just like the narcissistic parent, and unconsciously you want to replay that scenario in the hopes that you can fix it and change it and finally receive the love that you always wanted from that parent through your narcissistic partner. The downside of this is, whilst we think this is how it gets resolved, what it is actually doing is re-triggering us, causing further trauma to happen to us. The outcome will never change. Why? Because the narcissist cannot change. Reason number 2, unresolved addiction issues within ourselves. Subconsciously avoiding our life, avoiding being close with other people, running away from ourselves, running away from our lives. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is actually a form of escapism, because whilst you think it's good in the short term, it might be adrenaline filled, it might ease a sense of boredom that you might be feeling, realize that this is actually an addiction issue that you are struggling with inside of yourself, because you too also have wounds that you need healing from. Number 3, you have a low self-concept belief about yourself. You are experiencing a low sense of self-worth because you are already believing about yourself that you're not worthy of love, not worthy of respect, that you are unlovable, that no one could ever love you, and this is the best that you can get. Unfortunately, that is the best that you will get, because what we believe about ourselves plays out in the natural, and that is what we are attracting in our life. God can let you know to let go of someone, give you nudges to let go of a certain person, but until you heal and begin to believe a different concept about yourself, begin to see your self-worth, who you really are in Jesus, it's very difficult to listen to that voice that God is telling you to let go of that person, because you're struggling to see your own worth. Therefore, you are accepting less than what you truly deserve. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys some encouragement and some ways that you can begin to take steps to get yourself out of this situation. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a picture of your future if you decide to stay with this person. If you choose to stay in this relationship, the damage a narcissist can bring to you is extremely extensive. Because of the consistent abuse, emotional, physical abuse, and in some cases, even sexual abuse. Over time, this is going to erode your sense of self, your self-worth, and whatever little self-esteem that you already have is going to go downhill. There is the potential that you will become more reliant on the narcissist for validation, approval, and them leading you and telling you your sense of direction in life. This will cause you to be less independent and less confident in any decisions that you're making about your own life, in turn making it more difficult for you to leave the narcissist. They will steal your joy at any chance that they get. Once the honeymoon season of the relationship is over, they turn into a different person, their true nature. Whenever you're happy or feeling joy, they will always try to steal this from you. They will always try to steal your peace, because a narcissist can never be in peace. They intentionally like to cause drama and inflict pain upon another person, because this gives them a sense of control and power, which they like. The narcissist will keep you from progressing in your own life. They will cause you to come to a point of stuckness, and this will overflow into all areas of your life, into your relationships, your career. Maybe you're a person who likes to volunteer and help other people. You won't have the energy to give that to other people whilst being in a relationship with a narcissist. They will steal your dreams and your hopes to be able to dream about something for your future because of their negative energy. When you're around that negative energy, you can't hope in an environment like that, in an atmosphere of negativity. It's impossible. They are dream killers, joy killers, progression thieves. If you choose to stay with them, you will be in absolute misery every day for the rest of your life. You will live in regret of not achieving your dreams, regret of not trying something new and stepping into a completely new relationship with a non-narcissistic person. So here is some encouragement for how you guys can begin to get yourselves free and get out of these situations. Number one, ask Jesus for the strength and the help to get you out of that relationship. If you, like me, had tried many times, you ended up back there with them again. I'm just going to share a quick testimony. When I was in this place, I was literally walking around my house. My ex-narcissist was living in the house with me. I was dissociated. I was in absolute misery. I felt like I was in a prison in my mind. Because of the addiction issues that I was struggling with, my own childhood wounds, I was feeling like it was very difficult for me to completely sever ties with him. And so I actually asked Jesus. I said to him, Jesus, I can't do this on my own. I've been trying for ages. I need you to step in and help me to get out of this relationship. And within the next month, my ex received a job opportunity to go and work at a farm, and I suspected that he was cheating on me, and which he was. Although it hurt me at the time, I believe it was God's way of getting him out of my life. Eventually, I was able to sever those ties and get the help that I needed. And I began to go and learn about who Jesus was even more. I went to the church a couple of times a week. I was in the Word of God. I was listening to prophetic words, doing my best to change my self-concept and self-esteem. The next thing that many of you guys probably stress and worry about is a lack of resources, a lack of finances. I would just like to say to you that it is far better to be out of that situation being poor than using that as an excuse to keep you stuck in that relationship, thinking that you won't have enough finances. God is your provider. He wants peace for you, and he will provide for you financially. Even if you don't see those resources right now, even if you don't have those resources to get out immediately, maybe you have friends to turn to, maybe you have some relatives that can help you for a period of time. Maybe the narcissist has chipped away at your self-esteem and you are starting to believe that you can't work anymore, that you're too scared to step out there and take a job. Whilst those might be the thoughts that are coming up for you, realize that they are just fearful thoughts and you can push those aside and get out of there anyway. Once you're able to be in a separate environment from the narcissist, your self-esteem and your peace will begin to come back to you slowly by slowly over time. The next thing, it's very important to completely disconnect from the narcissist, and I mean removing him from your social media, blocking his number, not looking at his social media, not looking at any other photos of him. Delete every photo that you have of that person, and all gifts and all memories, they need to be erased, because the enemy will try to use those to get your focus off of Jesus, to distract your mind, to cause you to go back to that situation. So whenever you get those thoughts, feelings and desires that you miss this person, the enemy will use images to pop into your mind, reminders of the so-called good times, as an attempt to get you to go back to this person. Realize that that is his tactic and refocus your mind. Get rid of all the connections that you have to this person and do your best to not look back, to not look at that person again. The next encouragement I have for you guys is, unfortunately, these people will not change. You cannot force them to change. You cannot make them change, because they are in a place of complete and total denial, and they are unable to open up to anyone to be able to trust another person. They didn't even trust their own parents. Whilst it is a very, very sad thing, the only help that they can receive is from Jesus Christ himself, and only he is able to bring this person to a place of surrender and seeking for help. Sometimes these people need to learn the hard way, if ever they do learn. When they lose the people around them, when they lose everything in their life, they may reach absolute rock bottom, and that is the only place that they might consider reaching out to God, and he will be there to help them in that moment. You may have loved this person, but it wasn't the real person that you fell in love with. It was the facade that they were showing you to lure you in, to keep you trapped with them. A narcissist needs a lot of healing, and they do need a lot of deliverance. You can pray for them every day if you want to after leaving that relationship. Pray for their intervention, but love them from a distance. Put that boundary up and move on with your life to the next person that God has for you. The next piece of advice that I have for you guys is, begin to dream again. Once you're out of that situation, give yourself a period of time for grieving if you need that, because I'm sure you will, but it's not good to stay stuck in that place. Start to create small goals for yourself, moving towards the direction that you always wanted to go in, that you felt you never could go in because you're with the narcissist, who was joy stealing and killing and crushing your spirit and your dreams. Start to take, even if they're very small steps, forward in that direction that you've always wanted to go in. If you need to, go to a therapist, join a support group, but keep moving forward, and I can assure you things will get better for you. It may not look like it or seem like it initially. Eventually there will come a time where you've noticed, hey, I actually do feel better. It may have been a long time to pass, but if you take these steps, put in the work to begin to heal your mind, change your self-concept, create small goals for yourself, you will see that there is freedom on the other side of being with a narcissist and being stuck with spending the rest of your life with them.